Welcome to the Health Reflections podcast, a podcast dedicated to exploring the world of anti-cancer living and empowering you to take control of your health. I'm Finola, your host and guide on this transformative journey towards a vibrant and resilient life. Join me for solo episodes and conversations with wonderful guests. I am beyond excited that you're here, so let's dive in. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Health Reflections podcast. I don't know how you're doing. I really hope that you're great, but I am full of cramps, okay? I had a class of Pilates yesterday and my body is hurting so much. I am not used to doing Pilates. Pilates is not part of my fitness routine. I'm trying to try it out because I've heard so many good things about it. And also my doctor suggested it a lot of times for my back. So I'm trying to do it, and this was the second class, and oh my god, my muscles are hurting so much, especially the ones from my legs. Like, that is not even a cramp, it's pain, huge pain. So yeah, sometimes even sitting down is just uncomfortable. So I'm here with my matcha tea, warm matcha tea, because I'm so cold. Like, if you go outside, it's perfect weather, the sun is out, but it's the time of the year when if you're outside it's warm, but somehow inside the house it's colder than outside. Anyway, I just wanted to, small little catch up. I really hope that you guys are doing great. And now, yes, let's focus on today's episode. I want to talk about growing up, the different challenges, maybe not the different challenges, but the different things that I have done or given priority to in order to face the different challenges that we go through when, we go from our 20s to our 30s. I am about to turn 32. If you're listening to this podcast the day it was uploaded, I am turning 32 next Sunday. Today is 10th of April, and I'm turning 32 14th of April. I want to talk about this. This has been kind of a tradition to do, mainly in my YouTube channel, ever since I was getting closer to being 30. I really wanted to talk about what it involves. I think a lot of people out there get very scared as soon as they hear the number 30 or being in their 30s. And I really think it's a misconception and something that needs awareness. But I'm just saying this because if I take myself as an example, I thought I had to have my entire life figured out by the time that I was 30. So when I was getting close to being 30, I had a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress because I was still doing my PhD. My PhD is temporary, so it's not like a stable job that is going to provide me a stable income for the rest of my life, right? There's something new that I will have to look after that. So I was getting very stressed. I was, I'm renting an apartment. It's not like I bought a house. And I could see a lot of my friends were way ahead of me. And that is another thing I think that we do wrong. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves even to our friends, because every single person is different, and every single person's, goals in life, career goals, house goals, everything is just different for each person. And I think we just need to let go of this societal expectation of what we need to do or have done by the time we get to 30. So yeah, this topic for me is really, really important. I'm gonna turn 32. I'm not stressed or anxious whatsoever. I'm having a very nice time, regardless of the stress and anxiety that can come with my PhD. I'm really having a nice time. I'm really seeing a lot of progress with my life, and it's happening just as it should happen, So yeah, I just want to speak about the steps, just give some advices, some things that I learned with my therapist, some things that I learned from my mom, some things that I learned from other friends of mine that are in their 30s, and just put it all together in one episode for you guys. Just to embrace growing year by year rather than being scared of it. The first advice, and this may be very obvious, but the first advice is self-acceptance. Accept and love yourself just the way you are. And I think this sentence is way easier said than done. And it's going to be a different process and a different journey for each one of us. But I think it is so important to embrace your unique qualities, your unique strengths, and also your unique flaws. It's also about loving your flaws. I think a list of what I have seen on my own experience, embracing ourselves fully and unconditionally is a fundamental step in the personal growth journey. And this just means loving yourself just the way you are, without any reservations and without any conditions. This means recognizing your strengths, those attributes that set you apart from others, and celebrating them. Acknowledge your talents, your skills, your abilities, and just let them shine. And self-acceptance is not only about loving the good parts of yourself. Self-acceptance is also about embracing your flaws, your weaknesses, your imperfections, because these, for me, are not to be hidden or erased. They are part of who you are. These are what make you human, what make you relatable. And in my opinion, I think it's completely okay if there's something that you don't like about yourself and you would like to change it or improve it. But I don't think it's necessary to push yourself too hard or hate that part of yourself. If you want to change it, if you want to improve, if you want to be a better person, that is perfect, that is great. But the process until you get to where you want to get, that doesn't mean that you have to treat yourself badly or talk negatively to yourself because you have that one thing or a few things that you don't like about yourself. It's part of who you are. Love them, embrace them, and slowly move and grow and change towards the person that you want to be. Because these areas of your life, these parts of yourself that you don't like, are the ones that are going to offer a great opportunity for you to learn and grow. I think it's very important to remember that there is no one else out there like yourself. You're unique, you're extraordinary, and you are you. And that by itself, it's something to be celebrated and to love. And this is a huge learning point in my personal growth journey. I have been focused on becoming the better person, becoming the woman that I want to be for a very long time. And I was pushing myself too hard for the things that I didn't like that were part of my life. And I just had to learn, sometimes alone, sometimes with my therapist, that these are part of who I am. This may be like personality traits or parts of my body that are changing as I grow. So it's just a lot of things that we can see that we don't like, and it can be a struggle to deal with them. And it also can be a struggle to appreciate them and learn to love them. I think it's very normal that it comes out naturally to automatically don't like or hate something about ourselves, but it can have a very negative impact. So I really advise you to work on this if this is happening, because learning to love something that you don't like just makes the process easier. At least for me, it has been life-changing. Okay, my next step, and I think this is pretty obvious coming from me, is to prioritize health. Every single time that I haven't prioritized health, the process and the journey into growing, just growing. Let's just set aside focusing on the person that we want to be for a second. Just growing. Whenever I didn't prioritize my health, everything was worse. And I'm not talking just about like health issues, but also how well I was doing in life, how my career was going, relationships with my friends. Just prioritizing health can benefit you in so many areas that you're not even aware about. This obviously involves regular checkups you have been following me for a while, you guys know that regularly every year I go to my doctor and I make sure that I'm okay. And if there's anything happening, I want to put a solution and make sure that I improve that aspect. It is also about having a balanced diet. It's about having a fitness routine that you love, that you enjoy. And it's not only this, but also paying attention to your mental health. And of course, making sure that you're getting the appropriate rest. And this actually, I think I'm going to start prioritizing again. There is something very curious which has happened to me my entire life. As soon as I wake up, I am a zombie. I don't function. That I know. I have known my entire life, and I don't rush myself in the mornings. I just let my brain wake up whenever it wants to wake up. So in the morning, it takes me a very long time to become awake. That has been something that I know, and it never bothered me. I just took longer in the morning, and that's it. However, something that has been happening lately is I have been waking up very tired and not able to wake up at the time that I want. Sometimes I manage, I even go to the gym, and others it's impossible. And I really don't know where this is coming from. Like, is it burnout? Is it because I have sleep debt? Because this can happen when you miss sleep hours. That gets accumulated, and the more you postpone catching up on your sleep, the worse that can get, and this can also cause the chronic fatigue. So yeah, I really don't know where this is coming from. I don't know if I have chronic fatigue, if I am burnout, if I am stressed and maybe I'm not noticing it. I know that I'm overworking. I'm very aware of that. I'm overworking. But I thought I was prioritizing my sleep hours. So actually today I'm going to sit down with my partner and try to evaluate what is happening. And I have been reading some articles already, and I heard this one doctor say that dinner should happen at least 2 to 4 hours before sleep. And lately it has been like 2 to 1 hour, maybe. And I read that is really bad because your body's focusing on working, making digestion happen. So even though you're asleep, you're not really fully resting. So that could be one of the reasons that it's making me wake up incredibly tired. Like even yesterday, I woke up at 6:30. I woke up at 6:30. No. Yeah. I woke up at 6:30. I had a very slow morning. It really helped me. I had a Pilates class, and even during the class, I had to stop so many times to catch my breath because I just couldn't. Like, I just needed to give my body so many times a moment to catch up and like recover and gather energy so that I could continue with the class. And after that, I was exhausted. Working yesterday was such a struggle, such a challenge. So yeah, this is what I mean by prioritize your health. Like, it's not only the food that you eat, which it is, the amount of exercise that we do, having regular checkups with the doctors. It's also about mental health, checking with yourself, and also check your sleep hours. I know there are a lot of people out there that think that sleeping is such a waste of time, but with my years, I have learned that it is not. And the moments where I prioritize my sleep, like the amount of time that I sleep, and not only that, the quality of my sleep, I feel overall way better. And when I say health checkups, this should include appointments with your general doctor. I always ask to have a blood test measuring everything that is possible to measure in a blood test. I really want to know every single thing that is happening in my body. I go to the dentist, which she's my cousin, so I love that. I go to my gynecologist. I think this is very important because having these regular checkups, it's a proactive approach to help you understand your unique health risks and learn how to manage them effectively. Then for a balanced diet, this is a very important thing that all of us should pay attention to. Again, if you have followed me for a while, you know this. But just in case you're a new listener or a new watcher, in the case that you're on YouTube, for me, having a balanced diet, that doesn't mean having a strict diet. For a lot of us, having a strict diet can have a huge negative impact on our mental health. So I'm not a big fan of strict diets unless, you have a serious health condition and that is absolutely necessary. But for me, the term diet doesn't go with restricting yourself or being super strict. The diet for me is just the food that you eat on a regular basis. And all I'm just saying is that this should be balanced. You should include fruits, vegetables, proteins, nutritious food that can help you support your immune system and promote an overall well-being. And of course, this is going to depend on your values and the type of diet, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian. So the type of diet that you want to do according to your values. Exercise is crucial in order to prioritize your health. The human body was not meant to be sedentary. And the moment that I see that I stop working out and that I become more sedentary, whether it is because I have a deadline or a very stressful project that I'm focusing on, I can notice it. I notice that because of that, certain things bad happen in my life. Like my stress gets higher, my anxiety levels get higher, I tend to have more cravings, I tend to feel more fatigue. And, there were situations where I hit a very high stress level. And instead of just pushing myself into working in whatever the thing I was working on, I just went for a walk or just go to my terrace, open the window, make sure that I was breathing fresh air, and just jump or make a little dance. The second you move your body, that stress just decreases. Maybe not a lot, because obviously you need to focus on the root cause, but working out is essential in order to be healthy. It can improve our cardiovascular health. It can help us build strong muscles. It can help us with our mental health to regulate, as I just said, stress and anxiety levels. It will help us to support our immune system and also our bones and our joints. Okay, the next step or the next advice that I would like to talk about today is about trying to find balance. So try to find balance for your personal life, your career, hobbies, and social activities. And I think for this, time management is key. I juggle a lot of things at the same time. As a lot of you may know, I'm doing a PhD and also I'm running a business. Sometimes it's weird to call it a business because I don't feel like it's still up and running, but that's what I'm working on, building a business. And of course, then there's myself that I need to take care of. And then there's my partner that I absolutely love with my whole heart. And I love spending time with him. And then, of course, there are my friends and my family who sadly live far away and I can only see on vacation. So there's a lot of things in my life right now, and finding balance is extremely hard. So learning about time management and prioritizing things has been really helpful. Learning about organizing, learning about planning your time in order to be able to accommodate it for all your activities. This is what it involves to learn about time management. Like, I put every single thing in my calendar. My doctor's appointments, when I'm going to see friends, when I have a specific plan that is outside home with my partner, at what time of the day I am going to be setting time for self-care. This is crucial. The reason why I'm saying that all of these things should be on your calendar is because you're going to have a more clear vision of what's happening and being able to set priorities and know exactly what to do and when. So the first thing that goes on my calendar every single time is doctor's appointments and events that I know I do not want to miss. So actually, today I'm going to meet my friends after work, and I haven't seen them in a very long time, so I really didn't want to miss this. Like, the first thing that I thought was, no, Finola, you do not have time for this. You need to work. There's a lot of tasks of your PhD, there's a lot of tasks on your business, but there's a point where you need to stop and say, no, I work a lot, I have done a lot of work, I deserve to see my friends, and also I haven't seen them in a very long time, and I really want to know how they're doing. This is not only just for me and to find balance and being like feeling okay, which it is, but also I want to know how they're doing. I want to know if there's anything that I can do to support them or just to be there for them. I think, and this is something that we will talk in this episode, but building relationships, like valuable relationships, it's very important. So yeah, and something very important, because I feel like people, when they hear finding balance, they think it's about setting the equal amount of time for the different tasks that you have in your life. So like if you spend 8 hours of work, then somehow you need to find 8 hours for your personal life or to go out or to enjoy whatever activity you want to do. No. Finding balance is not about this. It's about finding a balance that works for you and leads you to an overall happiness and satisfaction. It's about identifying your priorities at different stages of your life and allocating your time accordingly. So the very basic example, which I just said it, today I'm spending the entire day working, so I'm taking a little bit of time after that to see my friends, and after that for a little self-care and wind down before going to bed. Okay, since I mentioned it in this part, I'm going to talk about this now, the next advice, which is building strong relationships. And this means with your friends, with your family, and your significant other. I think it's so important to have strong, meaningful relationships, because in the different situations that you're going to go in life, these people that you value and that you care about are going to have a profound impact in your life. They're going to shape your experience, your perspectives, and your overall happipiness. Each relationship that we form, no matter how short or long it is, or also no matter how big or small that relationship is, it comes with its unique set of dynamics, challenges, and rewards. And learning to navigate this is an integral part of personal development. And a very important thing that I learned is that every single person that you meet doesn't necessarily need to be in your life forever. Some people are just meant to be in your life for a very little tiny while, and that is totally okay. That doesn't mean that you have to fight or end badly the relationship. Sometimes we have friends and they're amazing friends, but they're just there for a short period of time. And I'm not saying with this that, of course, you will not feel bad to grow apart from that person that was your friend, but it was meant to happen. I mean, not always, but sometimes we just grow apart, whether it is because we have different goals in life, whether it is because we live very far away and trying to catch up got very difficult at some point. There's certain things that we can do, of course, in order to stay in contact with a person, but sometimes that person was just meant to be there for a little while in your life, and that doesn't mean that more in the future, you cannot reach out. I really hope I'm making sense with what I'm saying. But for so long, I tried so hard to keep people in my life. Can you hear that? I'm taking care of a doggy. He's sleeping right now and he's dreaming, and he always makes these cute noises, and his paws start moving. So I think he's running in his sleep. So yeah, I will continue. I'm sorry, I will not wake him up for this podcast. So if you hear that, that's the doggy that is accompanying us in today's episode. So yeah, I think what I was saying is that for a very long time, I tried to keep people in my life, and the outcome was worse rather than actually learning, in my case, to let go and just be okay with that person growing apart from me and not trying every single thing that I could do to try and hold on to that person. So I think this is very important. Okay, I think the best thing that we can talk about now, after talking about relationships, it's emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is a crucial aspect of personal growth, especially as we transition into our 30s. A very important component of emotional maturity is the cultivation of emotional intelligence. And this refers to having the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as emphasize and respond to the emotions of others. And this comes, the very first step is self-awareness, which is all about understanding and recognizing your very own emotions. This means acknowledging your feelings, both positive and negative. I always insist on this. It's not only focusing on either of them. Every single day, you will probably have some good things happen and some negative things happening. So it's very important to be aware of both of them. And you can be able to understand how they influence your thoughts. So not only the good and bad things that happen, but your positive and negative feelings, how they influence the thoughts that you have. And also, of course, your actions. It also involves learning and recognizing your triggers that lead to certain behaviors when situations happen in your life. And I learned about this in therapy. That's how I learned so much about my feelings, my emotions, what triggers I have. And I have learned so many things about the specific behavior patterns regarding the different situations that can happen in my life. And not only being able to learn about this and understand them, but also being able to change anything that I didn't like. In my past, my very first boyfriend was extremely toxic. So toxic. And at the end, you haven't been with anybody else. I mean, I don't know if anyone else can share an experience that it happened differently, but for me, I didn't see any other type of relationship. I mean, for myself, I could see other relationships out there, but that was my very first relationship. So I instantly thought that that was normal. I automatically, learned that that type of relationship, that type of love was what love was about. So for years, I carried that with myself. That relationship ended extremely badly. I entered a huge depression, and that's when I started therapy. So this was when I was 19, and I'm turning 32. After that breakup, it took me 7 years to be myself again. I spent in depression, I think it was like 1 year more or less, maybe a little bit more. But even though I had recovered from depression, I was still not feeling myself. And still to the beginning with my current partner, I still carried some of the toxic traits that I learned with that first boyfriend. And this is why I want to put myself as an example, because learning about your emotions, learning about your feelings, about the patterns that you have, the behaviors that you have, how you react to different situations. That is not going to happen overnight. And also, if you want to change it, it's also not going to happen overnight. It takes an immense amount of work. And I have been working on this with my therapist. I have been doing deep inner healing with my therapist. The way my therapist work is not just going to a session and talking about the things that happened and that's it. I'm saying this because I have heard a lot of my friends doing that type of therapy and then telling me that it hasn't worked for them. Because I think there's a lot of different types of therapy out there and you need to find the right one depending on what's happening to you. So with my therapist, we did a lot of inner work. Like, it was inner work. He was trying to identify the points in my body that were extremely tense, and also trying to identify where a specific pattern, behavior, feeling, thought was coming from. And they were coming from lots of different situations and experiences that I have lived throughout my life, and that for some reason I decided to carry that with me in my life. This is why I really wanted to mention this in this episode, because this is a huge part of personal growth, personal development. And, you know, I know you may feel like you don't want to go to therapy or like the work is going to be so huge, but the sooner you start, the sooner you will be better, and also the sooner you will be the person that you want to be. Because as soon as I realized that I was carrying some toxic traits from that relationship that happened years ago, I knew I didn't want any of that with me. I didn't want to apply any of that with Jorge, my partner. Like, all I want is to love him, support him, and be there for him. And of course, I'm not saying we will never disagree on things or have, small arguments, because we rarely argue. We have a very healthy relationship, but I think this is happening because of the work on ourselves separately that it's behind all this, And I also wanted to use this example because the more you learn about your feelings, the more you learn about your thoughts, about your patterns, this is going to help you to navigate social interactions. This is going to help you to know with what type of people you want to build relationships with. Maybe this sounds selfish, but I know for a fact I don't want toxic people in my life. Sorry, no. So by knowing these things, sometimes it's very difficult to identify them, but others not so much. So, I'm not rude about this, but I just don't try to make any effort into trying to build a relationship with someone that is not calling my attention. This may sound selfish, but I'm sorry. I'd rather be selfish and focus on the people that really interest me. Like, I love my friends right now. The friends that I have, they're so wonderful people. And the amount of things that I learned from them, it's crazy. And yeah, I feel like we're all in the same, the same vibe. We want to build meaningful and strong relationship with our friends, with our partners, with our family. I know you don't choose your family, but I was very lucky with my parents and my sister, and also my cousin, my first cousin. I love them. Like, they're a very big pillar of my life, and I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for them. And I hate I always try not to use the word hate because it's a very strong negative word, but I really don't like the fact that we are so far away. Okay, the next advice, even though we have mentioned it here and there throughout the episode already, the next advice that I would like to talk about is self-care. One of the most important aspects of personal growth and maintaining also a work-life balance is prioritizing self-care. So the way that I see self-care is just to take the steps to improve and preserve your health, your well-being, and your happiness, mainly when you are during periods of stress. So self-care is not an act of indulgence. For me, it's a necessary practice to ensure that you are operating at your best. In order for you to be able to wake up every day and continue working and achieving your goals, you need to take care of yourself. So I don't want to spend a lot of time because we have mentioned the different steps for this. So like for me, self-care is prioritizing my health, which I have mentioned in this episode. And it's about the diet that I want to do, the amount of hours that I want to sleep, my fitness routine. We already talked about the different steps about for this, but we didn't dive a lot in an aspect for self-care, which is mindfulness. Mindfulness has been on my life for a very long time, and I practice also exercises like breathing techniques, meditation, and yoga, not only to handle my mental health, but also to understand a lot more about my feelings and my emotions and the way I tend to react to certain situations. So mindfulness is a practice that involves maintaining a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts, our feelings, our bodily sensations, and our surrounding environment. It's about being completely present in the moment, not lost in the past or worried about the future. And this practice enables you to experience life as it unfolds, being able to savor every moment and living life more fully. By practicing mindfulness, you can cultivate a sense of inner peace and balance, and also it will reduce the amount of stress levels and anxiety levels. Because where you're not preoccupied with worries and fears, you're better able to enjoy the present moment and all the joy and beauty it has to offer. Also, something that I love about mindfulness is that it also enhances your relationship with other people. When you're fully present in your interactions with others, you're better able to listen, to understand, and to respond to them in a more meaningful way. So practicing mindfulness, learning a lot about mindfulness, and, other types of exercises like meditation and breathing work and yoga have really helped me truly in my life. And as I was transitioning from my 20s to my 30s, and also now that I'm in my 30s, I try not to freak out about the fact that at one point I will be 40. I want to enjoy my 30s and what it comes with being 32. And I am, to be honest, right now I'm not scared about growing old. I'm kind of falling in love with growing old. Because it comes with so beautiful experiences and, knowledge. But I'm more stressed about the time passing by so quickly. So when I think of my career, for instance, I'm still doing a PhD. I know I will soon finish it. And there are so many other things that I would love to learn. A very big goal of mine is to become a naturopathic doctor, and that will take like 3 to 4 years. And there's other type of core certifications that I would love to have in order to be able to run my business the way that I envision it. So that's somehow my fear, to spend so much time studying and dedicating to my career, and maybe I'm missing in other type of experiences, or I'm leaving too little time for other time for experiences, because I really truly enjoy studying. I love studying. I got this from my dad. Up to today, he's still studying lots of things. So I love studying, and I really want to do my career goals the way that I see it. But also sometimes I really say this to Jorge, like, I would love to have more time to travel, or instead of investing so much money into my business, maybe just use that to travel. So that is more my stress right now, with the amount of time that I have in life. Not so much the growing old, but the amount of time that I have to do all the things that I have to do, which could be related somehow. So yeah, I think I'm going to end the episode here. Of course, when we talk about growing and personal development, there are so many things that we can talk about. But today I really wanted to focus on the things that really have helped me, and that when I did it on a regular basis, I have noticed a change into the way that I behave, how everything evolved, and my perspective of life. As I grow, my perspective of lots of different things keep changing. And yeah, I kind of like that. That's why I always think it's important to keep an open mind. Like a scientist, you need to be open to new results and new meanings. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, that it brought you value. I would be so happy if you would share your experiences, whether if it's as a review in the podcast, or comments in YouTube, or in our lovely community in Discord. So yeah, I'm going to say goodbye now. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.
That's it for today's episode of the Health Reflections podcast. If you would like to have more information, you can check out the show notes or go to the podcast section at finolameister.com. I hope this episode was valuable to you and inspired and empowered you into taking action. A reminder that we have a lovely community space called Healthy Life Dreamers, where we share experiences and support each other on this journey. I would love it if you would help me spread the word by leaving a review or sharing the podcast with anyone you think might need it. Thank you so much for being here today. See you in the next one.